Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and you're all very welcome along. Can I just begin by introducing myself? My name is Michael Shovelin, and I am currently the chairperson of the Chartered Accountants Northwest Society. Can I begin by just wishing you all a very happy new year, and hopefully you'll all have a very rewarding and satisfying and enjoyable year ahead. I wanted to say a specific word of thanks to Arlene for organising this very interesting seminar and putting together a formidable lineup of speakers over the course of the next 20 days or so. So a special word of thank you there to Arlene. Just to remind you all that these sessions are being recorded. They will be made available to you at a later stage. So if you're unable to attend any of the events, you will be able to go back and look through them again. The other thing I would just ask you to do is perhaps to consider asking one of your colleagues if they would be prepared to join this session, because it runs over 20 days. So this is only the introductory session this afternoon. And we were hoping to have as many people, as many members of the Northwest Society and further afield join us as is possible. So if you wouldn't mind spreading the word around, that would be great. The other thing, just before I introduce you to the format and to the various leaders over the course of the next 20 days, is that this is our first event in the Northwest Society in the new year. Obviously, we had hoped that we would be able to meet face to face. That's simply not possible. And I know many of you are completely zoomed out and teamed out at this stage. But I think you'll find that what we have on offer over the course of the 20 days will be quite exhilarating and enjoyable. So very simply, I'm going to introduce you to the four leaders of this event over the course of the next 20 days or so. They'll talk a little bit about what they're hoping to do. And then I'll just come back at the very end and wrap it up. So the first person you'll be hearing from this afternoon is Olive McTague. Olive is the founder of Olive Branch Coaching and Consultancy. She's a chartered accountant herself. And in the first week of the program, Olive is going to focus very much in helping us to clarify and focus on our personal and professional goals for the year 2022. So I think, you know, given that the month of January is traditionally one of focus, and when we're thinking about our resolutions and what we might hope to reasonably achieve this year, this is a very good way to kick off the course. Second up then in week two, but you'll also hear later from Sinead Henry. Sinead is a highly experienced Pilates coach. And in week two, she's going to focus specifically on full body mobility. And even though we only have these 15-minute bite-sized spaces available, I'm assured by Sinead that there's a huge amount of work that we can do in that period of time. So I very much look forward to that event. Next up then in week three, we're going to hear from Nicky Halliday. Nicky is a nutritional therapist. She is the author of A Practical Guide for Cooking and Health. And she'll give insights into proper nutrition and how proper nutrition can help with everything from gut health, through brain health, through boosting our immunity and improvements to our heart health. And I'm sure Nicky will be one of the first people to tell me that those half-price Reese's Pieces selection boxes down in Lidl are not actually good value. So I very much look forward to hearing from Nicky. And then in week four, we're going to have John Graham. And John is from John G Coaching. And he's going to focus on guided, calm mind meditation. And I suppose, again, given that we are now heading into another year, we're preoccupied with COVID and the various challenges, I think this is a very important aspect of what we will do. And there's a variety of tools there to keep focus and attention on our plan for 2022. So I'll just introduce you to the first of those speakers. I'm delighted to introduce you to Olive McTague. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael, and it's lovely to be with you all here today. I'm zooming in from lovely Leitrim, but I trained as a chartered accountant, as Michael mentioned there, in Gilbergannon in Sligo. So I have, I'm really feeling very grateful today to be back speaking in a chartered accountant capacity with you all today. So thank you very much for having me. A little background about me: as I said, I'm a qualified chartered accountant. A few life changes happened for me in 2017. My husband passed away and I was made redundant. The company I was working for moved operations out of Ireland. So I started to make a few changes, and I went back to college and completed my diploma in life and business coaching. I've done a lot of other work on top of that and started my business, Olive Branch Coaching and Consultancy. And I'm also doing a degree in psychotherapy and counselling at the minute. So I am so interested in all things mindset, all things that we can do for ourselves, how we can improve, how we can make changes going forward, how we can implement them into our lives so that we can move forward in a happier, more content capacity with whatever we want for us. And just to keep it short and simple, what I want to cover this week and over the next 4 days with you all is all around the goal setting. So where do we even start? How do you set a goal? How do you even know where you want to be? Self-awareness, mindset. Then when we set the goal, how do we make sure we follow through? How do we break it down? What habits and routines we need to build in? You know, how to deal with procrastination, boost our motivation when it starts to wane, all of those different bits and pieces. So I will be tapping into everything as we go along, and I'm really, really looking forward to the next few days. And as Michael said, everything is recorded, so you will be able to touch back in on this. I know there's a lot of talk around it in January about setting goals and moving forward and what you want out of the year, but this is something you can pick up in the middle of July or the end of September. It's not something that's just here for now. So I think it's a brilliant initiative by the Chartered Accountants North West Society, and I'm very blessed to be involved with it. So thank you very much. I'm going to hand you over to the next speaker, which is Sinead Henry. Thank you.
Thanks, Olive. Hi, everyone. My name is Sinead. I am a Pilates instructor here in Sligo town. What I will be mainly focusing on for my week, working with you, which is next week, I'll be just doing movement classes. So these, you don't need any Pilates experience for these. It's open for anybody. Anyone can do it, no matter what shape, size, man, woman, anyone can do it. Very accessible. And it's actually a really nice way to try Pilates out without a huge commitment to anything. The classes aren't going to be difficult, like I said, so you're not going to be breaking a sweat. They're not anything about weight loss, nothing like that. These are movement classes. So if you think about the posture that you have, maybe if you're working at a desk a lot, you might become very rounded, and then looking at your phone in the evening and even driving your car, we're quite rounded. So we try and move through the shoulders a little bit, and that can really help to release out any tension that you might be finding in your neck and shoulders. We think about the spine and how the spine should move forwards and backwards out to each side, should rotate a little bit as well. So you try and bring some movement into that, and that can help with kind of any issues that you have with your discs, any low back pain that you might have. It can really help to kind of release that out. And then coming down into the hips, we try and bring some more movement into the hips. So if you are sitting for long periods, most people would tend to get sort of low back pain, low back issues, maybe disc compression, stuff like that. So oftentimes when you move through the hips, that can really help to release out that whole area. So your hips, even if you're sitting for a long time and then you go out for a walk in the evening, you're still bringing your hips forwards and backwards, but they should also be coming out to the side and across the body, and again, rotating around. So sometimes when you bring that little bit of kind of blood flow and energy and oxygen into that area, it can help with the whole low back area, which is really nice and really beneficial. Again, I'm really excited and happy to have been offered the opportunity to work with you all in this short little snippets. Like, it's only for a week, but really by the end of the week, you should notice some benefits. Like I said, a little bit less stiffness, a little bit more mobility. And then if you continue that on, even for maybe 3, 4, 5 days a week, as you go along the year, I mean, after a month, you'll notice massive changes. But after the week, I think you will find, oh God, maybe my shoulders might feel a little less constricted, and you might start feeling a little better. Your breathing might have improved. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. I'm going to pass you over to Nicky, who will be doing the 3rd week. So hi, Nicky, and thanks everyone.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm really excited to be speaking with you this morning and for the week that I will be. I am a nutritional therapist and I've been practicing for 10 years. And I'm also a natural chef. So I studied to cook foods for people who are ill. So yeah, I suppose I've been specializing really mainly in gut health because I feel like it's a really important part of our health to have a very healthy gut to create a strong immune system. So there's a lot of different things that we seem to be dealing with in our world at the moment, which is, you know, a lot of us struggle with heart issues and the gut health and also diabetes. So I'll talk about blood sugar balancing and how best to balance our blood sugars. I'll talk about little tips that we can do for having a healthy heart and different foods that are good for that. And I'll also talk about how to balance our immunity, because some people might have a lower immunity or a high functioning immunity. So it's good to know how to balance our immunity levels. But I think it's important for us to be aware of how stressful it can be to cook for ourselves, especially when we're working full time. So I think that cooking is highly important because I think, you know, sometimes it's easy just to snack or to get takeaway or something like that. So I'll also bring in elements of how we can bring easy, simple meals into our diets, and also, you know, little tips like how to batch cook and freeze things for later in the week and stuff like that. So I think it's really important for us to have those little ideas on what makes it easier for us to actually bring that nutritious lifestyle into our stressful lives. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to being with you all for the week that I'll be here. And thank you so much for having me on. And I'll pass you over now to John Graham.
Thank you, Nikki. Thanks very much, Nikki. So yeah, my name's John Graham, and as already mentioned, my company is John G Coaching. So my background, just to give you a little bit of background, is it would have been private sector. So I would have worked for Standard Life when it was Standard Life for 17 years, worked in learning and development in a number of different people areas. I also worked in AIB, working in capital markets with corporate banking, global treasury, and a number of different areas there. And I actually moved here during the crash. So a lot of the work that I was doing was helping people deal with what was going on around them, trying to make life that little bit easier, because stuff's always happening, you know, whether it was the crash, whether it's the change in terms of looking at COVID these days, there's always something going on. So helping people have a bit more awareness of how they are creating their experience moment by moment so that they can do something about it to try and make that experience easier for them. So in terms of who I work with, well, we're going to be doing meditation on the session. So I'm going to be talking you through some guided meditations, but I'm also going to be teaching you as we meditate. So I'm going to be giving you some things to look at. Meditation itself is really just the practice. So I don't want to get caught too much up in the practice, but I want you to see what benefits you can actually get from putting this practice into practice. So in terms of who I've worked with, lately it's been finance and all different levels. There've been tech companies, the HSC, and service users within the HSC, different education areas, working with pharmaceutical companies, being sponsored by pharmaceutical companies to go out and work with GPs, to work with hospitals, to look at, you know, how we can reduce inflammation by stressing less and where that stress comes from, which is generally through the relationship we have with our thoughts and with our emotions. So this affects absolutely everything in terms of the better relationship we can have with our thinking, the more understanding we can have where our mood comes from, the more we can do something about it when it's perhaps not at its best or holding us back from doing any of the things that anybody else has talked about in their sessions. So there's two ways that you can take these sessions. One is you can come and just treat them as a chill out session, a chance to decompress, a chance just to be rather than getting caught up in the doing. Or you can use it as a teaching session. where you start to become more aware of how you're creating your experience moment by moment. And as I say, with that experience, with that awareness, you start to have choice. And with choice, you can decide whether you want to keep having that experience or whether you'd like to do something slightly different to change that experience, which will then change the behaviours that you put into practice, which are going to change the results that you get. So throughout the sessions, throughout the week, I'll be helping you build awareness of thoughts and emotions. We will be looking at the nature of thought and how thoughts pop up and maybe some of the traps that people can fall into, which create stress, which create anxiety, which stop us from performing, whether that's achieving your goals, whether that's feeling really good so you can perform physically, or whether it's deciding whether you can or you can't, whether it's looking at meals or stuff like that. This is about absolutely everything. So it can affect sleep, it can affect health, it can affect your creativity, it can affect your happiness. It affects absolutely everything. So within the sessions, we're building awareness, and with that awareness, hopefully helping you have a better relationship with thoughts and emotions so that anything else that comes into your life can be made that little bit easier and that little bit more fun. So I think that's everything. So what I'll do is I'll pass you back across to Michael now, and he'll take you through the last part of the session.
Okay, then I think we're just about keeping within time. I think you'll all agree that we have a very comprehensive series of talks over the course of the next 4 weeks or so. And I'm looking forward to kicking off tomorrow. Olive will talk to us about this all-important element of goal setting and focus for the year ahead. And Sinead talked about the importance of movement and posture. And again, we are all spending a lot of time at our desks. And I know exactly when she talks about this rounded feeling where you become quite hunched. So she's going to address that issue. Nicky is going to bring us through these all-important issues related to nutrition and the importance of gut health. And in particular, we're all conscious of the need to keep our immune systems in tip-top shape as we confront this version of the virus. And then the last week, then, an opportunity for us all to reflect and to have that necessary calm time to meditate and think. So very simply, kicking off tomorrow, Olive will get straight into her sessions. You won't be hearing again from me. But I'm very much looking forward to the weeks ahead. And thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so we'll see you all tomorrow, folks. Thank you.